Okay, this is part two of our playtest of the lands remaining, part two of three. There will be one more tomorrow. So we will begin with the start of session procedure, and the very first thing you do at the start of session is you resolve any of the fires that got stoked last session. I do want to talk to you, Gavrin, about the one you chose. That's more of a discussion to have. But we have a couple of marks from the old fire, one from Nizelle and one from Old Smoke. So whoever would like to go first, please read the prompt and then do what it says.
Ken, do you have a preference?
I'm open. If you want to jump in, go for
Okay.
it. I'm
Yeah, I'll go ahead then. The prompt is narrate a flashback to your initiation as a Crux Druid when you first heard the land speak clearly through suffering. Who was bound to the tree, and what small mercy did you grant them before the rite began? It's early morning, just after dawn. Weak light is filtering in through the canopy. Nizelle is kneeling at the base of a large tree with the tools of suffering spread out around her in the grass like a halo, just waiting for her first martyr to wake up. Behind her, almost blending in with the forest, are three elder druids, still as trees, patient as stones. It is unusual for a rite like this to be observed. These rites are always secret and seldom quiet. And so there is a distinct threat of being found, of being persecuted. And that only goes up if more people are involved. But for the first one, the initiation, there's always someone watching to bear witness and to step in if things don't go as planned. Sometimes they don't. Uh, from outside the order, people think that this is just an act that is done in a place, just a barbarous thing on a sacred tree. But there's more to it than that. There's something in you as you perform this. You have to call to the land in a way that it will answer. Not everyone has it, and you don't know until this moment whether you do or not. And if this rite doesn't go well, the elder druids are here to complete it, and the initiate will take the place of the failed sacrifice on the tree. Nizelle has told herself that if that happens, she will be a willing sacrifice. She will hold her head high. She will be graceful, burdened with purpose, even as her life seeps out of her. But the truth is, she's young and confident, and she really wants this to work. She takes a breath and she touches each of her tools, preparing. The woman on the tree is bound tight with vines, but she's not injured, not yet. It's important that she's awake when it happens. This is something else that people don't understand outside of the order. They think that it's the blood that wakes the land, but it's not. It's the pain, it's the suffering. And this is something that she's learned in her training is the greater the suffering, the greater the revelation. She's chosen her martyr with that in mind. She's chosen a martyr who will suffer greatly. When the drug wears off and her mother comes to, she knows that she's made the right decision. There's first confusion in her eyes and then panic and terror. But then when she realizes what's happening, when she recognizes and at the same time doesn't recognize her daughter in front of her, she is suffering before Nizelle has even picked up her tools. She climbs the tree uh, with an antler comb in one hand and her nails in the other. Before she begins, she whispers a promise to her mother, which is, I won't make you linger. And it's meant as a comfort for her mother, but also for her, because in that moment she believes that she can do this quickly and decisively. And as soon as it's over, it can be over. Um, but it has to be strong to come through to make the elder druids see. So she goes to the branch where her mother's arm is tied. She uses the antler comb to peel her skin the way that you would scale a fish. When the insides are exposed, seeping red, she threads the nail through the muscle to get down to the base of the tree. She told her mother that she wouldn't let her linger, but when she hears it, and it's not just the tree that's speaking to her, it's not just the grove that she's in, it's the distant mountain range, it's the pebbles in the stream, it's the ancient oak at the heart of the forest, it's the sapling, the newly buried seeds not yet sprouted. They're all speaking to her, all with one voice, and they're speaking to her. She doesn't cut her mother's throat or break her mother's legs or any of the things that she had thought about as she was preparing that could speed this process along. The elder druids depart, satisfied. Nizelle kneels at the base of the tree with her fingers dug into the soil as it muddies with blood, listening. In about 4 hours, her mother's lost her voice. She's no longer screaming, begging, crying, pleading, sobbing, but it takes her another 18 hours to die.
Old Smoke.
My prompt is narrate a flashback to your greatest triumph as a member of the Crystal Door. What impossible threshold did you cross, and how did your mastery of your body make you the quiet legend in your order? I'm imagining this as a montage in terms of flashbacks, given the events of the day. And Old Smoke fondly remembers Grand Master Zaven, the Grand Master of the Crystal Door. He was the acolyte prime of Grand Master Zaven. And the Grand Master, a tiny, wizened old man who looked carved out of mahogany with wispy white mustache. He was blind, cataract, milk white eyes, and insisted on relentless practice and routines, forced fasting, so that Old Smoke, who was known as the Little Mouse at the time, went days, weeks without food. And during that time, he was forced into doing things like bearing water from the lake all the way up the tower stairs, only to have the water tipped out again and sent back because the buckets weren't totally full. Forced silence so that he went a full year without speaking, learning how to communicate with hand gestures and reading the faces of the other acolytes and brothers of the order so he could be able to get things as simple as food. The reward for a year of this relentless practice and service was the master chaining his foot to a stone and pushing him into the lake that he spent a year drawing water from, only to learn how to control his first desperate drowning into controlled breathing. And then, in front of all of his peers, he was forced into acts of balancing on one finger. And when he was able to accomplish that, having the finger broken and told to balance on the broken hand again. Barefoot mountain climbing and studying the faces of those of the order around him so that he would be able to predict perhaps their actions, but certainly if they lied, watching every sign and symbol that he could draw from them. This was the master's teaching, and any time he failed, it was a relentless punishment. However, over time, his ruling willingness to put himself through such degradations, but his relentless efforts were rewarded with a confrontation with the king's royal guard. He was enlisted to try to defeat 12 of them, but his master insisted he do it blindfolded. And his 3 years of intense training were enough that he was able to best them. But his reward for that was 3 days in the serpent pit, where he would have to survive having asps weave in and about his body, not moving and not being able to get any help he knew for at least 3 days. And when his corpse like body was removed from the serpents on the third day, he was on the very verge of death, passing in and out of consciousness, having only been struck 3 times, but still the poison was taking its toll. And the master told him that he'd fast passed his final test. The test, the threshold that he was able to breach was understanding that he was fearless and without limitation. And in order to become one of the king's shadows, he needed to be both fearless and without limitations. That is the lock, and that is the key.
Fantastic. Thank you both. So there's a general prohibition on talking about your character's past. But now that Nizel and Old Smoke, those things that you have shared with us are things that your character has remembered. And so you are free to discuss them in or out of character as you wish. Gavrin, the Everlit, you marked the Kindling Gate last time, and this is something we were kind of like in the middle of a fight last time, so we'll take a moment to sort of go through what that means now. The Kindling Gate says, basically, once because you've marked it, no one else can mark it, and you now become the herald of one of your cinders. Each of the playbooks, or each of the embers, playbooks, each of the embers has 5 cinders, which are sort of philosophical statements or ideas that the character may or may not believe, but that in any case were perhaps important to the order they came from. And by becoming the herald of one of your cinders, you essentially discard the other 4 and you just become a zealot for this one idea. And so you have chosen to become a herald of the kindled heart, which says, to bear light is to burn. Now, here's what this means practically speaking. Cinders, and this applies to everyone, cinders are marked on 2 different occasions. You can mark them to bump up, answer a question. So if you get a die result and answer a question and you don't like it, one of you can mark one of your cinders. And so long as you reinterpret the answer to the question through the lens of the cinder, you get to increase your answer a question result. So it's almost like your character is almost like self-fulfilling prophecy, like putting their finger on the beliefs of this world, right? On putting their thumb on things. The other time you can mark answer a question, or sorry, the other time you can mark a cinder is whenever you enter into the Morning Tower. There are shrines there, and the cost of praying at one of the shrines is to mark one of your cinders, and we'll talk more about that later. So they're a currency in that sense. But the beat-to-beat moments, the gameplay moments where cinders are important is once a cinder is marked, you are now kind of subject to it. So once you mark that cinder, you might be doing a die roll that would otherwise be vitality or presence or reason, but I might say, well, I think this actually implicates your marked cinder X because of ABC. And so you would roll cinder instead of vitality or presence or reason or whatever. While your cinder is very low, you may not appreciate such such suggestions from me, or mandates, if you will. But as you increase your cinder, you might want to lean into your marked cinders so that you can get that better score. And so that's sort of the idea with cinders. Now, Gavrin, because you are herald of the kindling gate, whenever you act in accordance with or are negatively affected by the kindled, the herald of the kindled heart, but whenever you act in accordance with the kindled heart, you you get to mark a box on the kindling gate. There's 6 boxes there. And once all 6 boxes are filled, you get to unmark them and then unmark your cinder. So right now your cinder is not marked. You can mark it whenever you do answer a question or to do a shrine. But once it is marked, you get to unmark it by as you like kind of act in accordance with it. That is the only circumstance in which a cinder can be unmarked. For everyone else, once you mark the cinder, it's marked forever. So that's a quick and dirty overview of what is actually a very subtle and campaign length implication mechanic that we won't get to experience it too much in this playtest, but I just wanted you all to be aware of kind of how it works. And so that's the first time I've ever explained cinders, and I thought it went okay, apart from my stumbling here and there. Let's continue with start of session. So the next thing we have to do is I will recap each active mystery. In this case, it's just elegy, including any clues you found and the questions that are currently being worked on. So you are doing the elegy mystery, and you have currently 5 clues, 4 of which are defined, one of which we'll talk about in a moment. And let's see what those clues are, shall we? I need to go find my little thing here. There was a trail of candle wax leading into the sea. There was a skeleton laid out for burial with no skull, only a mirror in the place of the skull. There was this whisper that came up from the ground, the sea remembers. And then there was the shattered mirror whose shards reflected a bright sky instead of the fog. You have 2 questions right now. How can we call the Pale Crossing back to the shores of Elegy? That's a complexity 6. And how do we open the doors to the Morning Tower? That's a complexity 8. In order to resolve the mystery, you have to do the Pale Crossing one. The Morning Tower one is important. You should do it at some point, but it's not necessary for actually resolving this mystery. You also have a 5th clue that you were meant to define based off of something your characters might have found or observed amidst the wreckage of the grave gestalt, which is where we ended last time. In between sessions, I know we talked a little bit about what we thought that 5th clue was. Do we want to go ahead and put a point on that? Who wants to tell me what the 5th clue is?
Sorry, I'm making tea in the background, so I was going to let someone else do the talking. But
right.
Jazzy had a great idea about it being the remnants of a crossing. Was that what it was, or remnants of a passing?
Memory of passing, but
Memory of
remnants of
passing,
passing
yeah.
could also work.
Sort of tying the themes together from the grave gestalt and the passing that we will be doing on the boat.
Oh, interesting. So how did you all find this or experience it? Like, what did it, in the fiction, like what happened here? I'm just curious.
I was imagining that it was in the wreckage of the grave gestalt after it had been defeated, that there was like something that kind of stood out to us as not a bone.
Oh, I see. Oh, so then what? So what is it then? Like, what are we actually looking at here? Like, what is this memory? I guess.
I was thinking of it more like the way I was imagining it is sort of, when when you've done a boss battle and they have sort of this animation, like of you did it, the boss is going
Yeah,
down,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
video games will sort of have like that like ending scene. And I was imagining like maybe we described like it wailing and like all the sounds that it made, like
Oh,
maybe in the sound or like that memory was sort of like washing over us as the thing
oh,
went
that's
like
good. Okay, so
down.
I like
Yeah.
that. So we'll leave it kind of undefined until we get ready to answer the question. Like, so the way this will work is whenever you get ready to answer the question, you can kind of more precisely define that clue to kind of shape it to fit the answer that you're going for. So,
May I just sort of jump in with with an idea just to bounce off that?
sure.
What if it is a bone fragment, but it's a bone whistle with a sort of scrimshaw carved into it that is a symbol of a boat? And it was the sound of that distinct sound one that was part of the gestalt that we picked up on and then founded in amongst the remains.
I'm okay with that too. Whatever you all wanted. I mean, it's really as long as it sounds like maybe I saw three nodding heads, so I guess maybe that's an okay thing. Well, I think it's the thing you can combine it too. You can be like, whenever you blow the whistle, like it it invokes a memory of passing. I think like that's a nice clue. So you all can editorialize that however you want in the character keeper. Let's keep going here. The next thing to do for start of session is to let's see. Oh, what conditions do you all currently have? Happily, I don't have to ask you all to tell me because I can just look on our shared character keeper here. I see that Nizel has no conditions. Gavrin, however, has Herald of the Kindled Heart, which is kind of a forever condition, and scratches. Now, there is a circumstance where Herald of the Kindled Heart can be cleared, but you know that already. And then Shelf has Marked by Threnody. Even though Threnody is dead, I think you're still marked by Threnody until you deal with that tattoo. So, and then Old Smoke, you don't have any conditions currently. And so that just leaves the next thing to do. If you wish, you can mark new end of session questions. You don't have to. You can mark new ones though if you want. I don't think we have any moves that trigger at the start of session, do we? And normally you would, if we were already in the lands remaining, I would introduce a new mystery as well, but we're not yet. So, so we're good to go. Are there any questions before we start? Are there any, one thing that I'm also supposed to ask you is, are there any moves you'd like to fire off like early, or are there any scenes you'd like to have? We can kind of talk about that now just so we can kind of set things up for the, as play continues here.
So I can't do my move until we have access to journeys,
Right.
but I would like a scene that is sort of similar,
Okay.
if I
Yeah.
can.
With who?
So I think Nizelle, if there's been a moment where we've conferred and sort of shared our experiences, she would be looking for somebody like the noble that Gavrin
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and then trying to lure them to a vaguely
I got you
nature
covered. Yeah,
place.
I got you
Yeah.
covered. Fantastic. Does anybody else have any moves or scenes they want to get done early on?
Um, I can make some candles if I
Make
have
some
some
candles.
time,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
might be. Do I need to decide like what they do when I make them, or is it just like I have these candles and then when it comes up and I want to do a thing, I can be like, oh, that's the thing that they do.
Go ahead and review your move for a moment. We'll come back to it here in a sec. Old Smoke, Shelf, is there anything you want to do at the beginning?
I think Shelf. I'm not sure if this is a full scene. Maybe it is, but I think Shelf is like pledging some sort of vow to Gavrin as a candle bearer.
Okay, very good. I love it. That's
Yeah.
good. That feels like a really good starting scene, actually. Old Smoke, anything you want to do at the beginning?
Not at the beginning, no.
Okay. So then we'll start then. You're sort of, I think the battle took place kind of like in the big, like kind of yard or expanse of land in front of the Morning Tower, sort of between the Grand Cemetery and where the rest of you all kind of ran up from. So, and you all sort of fought the thing there in the middle. So now you find yourself at the base of the Morning Tower, bones all over the place. And let's talk about the Morning Tower itself, the exterior of it. The tower rises from the island's center, its black stone streaked with lichen. The great doors are sealed by heavy iron bands, cold to the touch, and etched with names too worn to read. The air around it feels stiller than elsewhere on the island, especially now that there's not a giant bone creature stomping around. The already dim sound of the sea fading as if held at a distance. Let's paint the scene. What mark, sound, or sensation hints that the tower still understands its purpose? What do you suppose that purpose is?
I think that even just after the battle, we witness all of the vines and roots around the tower begin to pull the fragments of the bones down into the soil.
I'm curious what you think the purpose of the tower is then.
To house and keep the dead.
Hmm.
I think no matter where we were on the island, we could always see it very clearly. There is no sun here to navigate by, but it's almost like the tower took the place of the sun. And you could always sort of know where you were or how to navigate towards it, like a pole, like a magnetism pulling towards. And I think that Gavin believes that the purpose is to guide us or guide something at least.
That's a really interesting observation. And it makes me wonder if it has a connection to the kindled heart. The kindled heart says to bear light is to burn. Do you think that the Morning Tower's purpose is connected to the kindled heart in some way? It's okay if not, but I'm curious what you think.
I think so. I think it is. I think it is in a sense it is like a lighthouse, right? It's not like doing it doesn't necessarily have like the big light on top or anything, but it has the same function.
Mm.
Even in like this gloomy space, it has this yeah, like this guiding light, so to speak. Even if maybe more symbolical than literal. And I think the burning I think maybe seeing like the vines being pushed down. I think the burning also more symbolical than like literal is this like the suffering of the land, like everything that it has to endure to have that light and to guide us to stay.
I like it. Mark one of your boxes on the kindling gate. Nizelle, Shelf, what do you observe that hints at the purpose, the possible purpose of the Morning Tower?
What Nizelle's eyes are drawn to is the sort of Gothic details of the architecture, the like sort of big stone arches, the parapets, those sorts of things as they go up. Uh, and it reminds her of the cities in the time of the Old Fire, and the it's it's a monument to pride.
Mm.
It's the pride of men. It is a thing that does not need to exist.
The I think that Shelf sees the the size of the tower and hears from within like sounds like echoing beats of footfall or occasionally a voice that you can't tell what it's saying, and but it's like those echoes have been rattling around in the tower for eons, sound that just cannot escape, that signifies that this was a place of meeting, a place like a place as if for a round table to gather.
Mm. I'd love to have that scene between Shelf and Gavrin. It was your idea, Alexander, so frame it up.
So yeah, so I guess pulling back from the tower, kind of as we've gotten our bearings, I'd like to say that we're maybe sort of like on a on a bit of a hill, a bit of an outcropping, where whatever ritual that Gavin might be starting to partake in, Shelf, ignorant of that, has dropped the gravestone he was carrying around, has taken up Name Taker and also planted it into the ground, and kneels, saying, "I would never have expected to have awoken alongside an illuminated one such as yourself. It is an honor. You if you should need me, you cannot call upon me by name, but you may speak the word shelf.
I think I like the idea that like I'm like in the middle of like making these candles. There's just like all this wax around while you're sort of just completely ignorant of that, doing this whole thing. Um, I think there's sort of this humble smile of being a little taken off guard at this pledge. But I think I reach for your hand if you give it to me. And I
He's a little cautious as he at first he puts out one arm and then he realizes that's the arm that Thraney marked. He pulls it back and he puts the other arm forward. Um,
and Gavin will gently take it and guide it to the burning branch. And like right at the edge of the flames, he stops looking at you expectantly, as if expecting some part of you to burn.
and I suppose um he will stay his trepidation and will unclasp his gauntlet and put that piece of himself, that part of himself that was marked, that was named, up to the fire and let that burn along with the flesh of his arm.
And when it is burned, Gavin takes that candle out and gives it to you and says, "Now we are bound in promise."
I really love this actually, and I want to memorialize this with a light move. I think, I think like, I think like what's at stake is like the clearing of this condition marked by Threnody, or the alteration perhaps of the condition. Um, the question is who does, I think because you're the one who's kind of at stake here, Shelf, you'll do the role. What are you afraid is going to happen right now?
I I think hmm, I think maybe I'm afraid that Shelf is afraid that his arm will. I think he's afraid that it won't burn, that he will be rejected by the fire.
Hmm, intriguing. If you wish to roll, go ahead and roll with, I think this is going to be, we'll do composure.
Composure, that is 12.
Nice. I'm going to give you a clue too. You're going to clear the condition. Be thinking of what that looks like. And then, Gavrin, you are going to see a clue in the fire or on the burning flesh, your choice. but you can define the clue, Gavrin. So the two of you can be thinking of what all that looks like. I'm going to check in with the others. Old Smoke, I think everyone else has kind of like wandered off a little bit. I'd like to suggest, if it's okay, that you're still kind of near the base of the morning tower, and you just hear, "Well, I suppose I'll be the one to clean all this up." "No, no, it's all right. I don't have anything else to do as the lone grave digger on Elegy, the funereal island, where we mourn the whole damn blasted world."
Are you deriding your vocation?
"Don't be troubled, Ember. I know you all have," he says really loudly so maybe some of you can hear. "I know you all have embery things to get off and get to doing. Don't need your help with all these bones everywhere." Even though some of them are being reclaimed by the earth.
You protest, but both of us know that you prefer to be on this side of the sod grave.
Truth be told, Ember, I'm not sure I even can be placed on the other side of the sod. I've tried to die many, many times over the years. In fact, during the first century of my service, after the dimning had finally done its business to conclusion, I couldn't take it anymore, and so I climbed to the top of the cliffs, and I jumped. And don't you know, I woke up right over there in the little cemetery, the shovel in my hand, and one of the nuns hollering from a high window in the tower that I needed to get to my digging. There's no escape for people like me.
I know your pain well, then, as you know my face. It is not the first time both of us have had this very same conversation. I feel like perhaps it is our fate that we are here while others are able to find their rest.
Rest. What a beautiful word that is. If only. And he goes to pick up more bones and dig more holes and trudges off. What do you do after that?
I think I will take a moment to do a little meditation myself, and if I could, I would like to mark the rune on my cloak
Mm.
and listen to the darkened, shadowy places of the world beyond elegy for anyone whispering secrets to old smoke.
Go ahead and make the information move with, I think it would probably be with, oh, let's go with composure for now, as you still your body to listen.
Ooh, 11.
Nice. I'll give you a clue. Um, but before I do, I just want to know a little bit more about that process. Like, how do you experience it?
I think that when I meditate and sort of lean into the shadows, um, it places me in that world between worlds that I survived in. And it is where those who wish to whisper secrets into dark places to old smoke to ask for favors or service, or perhaps revenge or some such thing. Um, it's where I can sort of hear lingering whispers in the world, and where I'm hoping to divine more information about the dimning. But on occasion, would be very happy to take up my old service in aid of any of those who give me juicy pieces of information.
Indeed. We'll come back to this. Nizelle, there are, I think, as you're sort of like kind of heading off your own on your own a little bit to kind of get the lay of the place, you'll occasionally see flitting by like phantasms or specters of some sort. There are, when you take the time to really look, you can see that there's quite a lot of them actually. They fade in and out, these sort of spectral beings, all of them in some state of grief or another, some state of pale memory. I think at one point, a procession of moths drifts past like falling ash, their wings dusting your hands with gray as they fly by. And the moths eventually, they kind of settle going into the direction of someone who maybe fits the bill a little better of what you're looking for. I've mentioned a few times that there are these large family mausoleums that dot the island in different places, and there is one of these family mausoleums ringed with a fence a little bit to the north and east of the Morning Tower. And you see someone there in faded finery who appears to be kind of like tending the place, or who knows what they're doing, but what do you do?
Do they appear to be sort of focused on what they're doing, or are they?
It seems like if you get close enough to kind of see what they're doing, it looks like they're kind of like trying to like sweep the walkway of this family mausoleum courtyard, but I don't know how much cleaning druids get up to, but I don't think this guy has really done much cleaning, and you can tell. So, what do you do?
That's a fruitless task, trying to get dirt out of the dirt.
Oh, yeah, yes, yes. I suppose it is. Yes. You must. Please come in, come in. You must forgive the state of our burial grounds. We've fallen on rather lean centuries, you see.
Indeed.
So, I am Ovric of House Durellen, apparently last of his name, although I've heard rumors that there might be other Durellans around on the mainland somewhere, but in any case, I'm the only one here on Elegy.
And
As you
you
get
stay here in the mausoleum.
as you get closer, you'll see that his pale finery is kind of mottled with mildew, and he still has this kind of perfume clinging stubbornly to him beneath the scent of dust. Oh, yeah, well, yes. I There are still a number of empty burial niches in the catacomb, and well, they're comfortable enough when you make them that way. A generous pile of moss goes a long way as a thing to rest one's head upon. And I'm always kept company down there too.
Indeed. Rather poor company, I would imagine.
Oh, well, yes, they're not the most talkative sort, that's true. But now you're here. You should come down and see my family's crypt. I shall have the bells rung, if they still
Oh,
ring. We'll
I'm
call
sure
it
that's not necessary.
we'll call it a welcome fit for kings. Yeah. Ah,
I'm
I didn't
more
get your
of
name.
a, of course not. I'm more of a simple person. I don't need a welcome fit for kings. Would you walk with me?
Oh, so you don't want to go into the catacomb then?
I'd prefer a dose of fresh sea air.
Haven't gotten enough of that already?
Hmm.
Right. Well, all right. He kind of like goes with you. What was your name then?
Nizel.
Oh, Nizelle. That's lovely. I I can sense the warm glow of the old fire in you. Are you an ember, Nizelle?
Yes, yes, I believe I am.
Oh, that's really nice. If you if you should make your way to the old capital, I've heard it's a rather difficult and long journey, but if you should make your way to the old capital, I do hope you will look up House Durellen. I would love to know how the old family place is doing.
I'm sure. Would you would you like to get a glimpse of it now?
Oh, what, what did you have in mind?
Little little bit of magic.
And he kind of he smiles and says, "Well, all right." And he goes with you to wherever you take him. Let's
Great. The
go.
nearest large stump.
Indeed. Let's check in with Gavin. Gavin, you said you were going to try to do your core move, right?
Yes.
The waxen order keeps the flame. You have the tools and ingredients necessary to craft magical candles. Whenever you take a few hours to do so, I think we can let a few hours pass, it's fine. Mark wax below and roll with cinder. So you have, let's see how many, you have 3 wax marks. Go ahead and mark one of those and roll a cinder, please.
All right. That is a 7.
A 7. All right, it says, on a 7 to 9, you will create a candle. But there will also, and you'll get an aspect for the candle, but there's also a complication. So there are several aspects you can choose from. I'm reading aloud mostly just for people watching the video. You can use the candle to bar a place or portal to a specific person or type of non-human creature. Stare into the flame to observe another place or time. The flame causes someone looking at it to be open to suggestion. The candle's scent causes everyone in a small space to fall asleep, or light and shadow warp into an illusion of an object or non-human creature. There's only one complication so far that you could get. The candle draws unwanted attention. So the candle will draw unwanted attention whenever you light it, but what aspect are you going to choose?
Um, I think for now I would like to be able to observe another place or time.
So you have that candle, and you can use it whenever you want. It's like just part of your equipment now, essentially. And so I think a fair amount of your afternoon or whatever time it is, your analogy, will be spent making your candle. Shelf, what do you do after after it's very clear Gavin is interested in making candles?
Uh, I I I think that I'll
Oh, we
I'll
have to
walk to
resolve
the
that other
shore.
scene too. We have to resolve that other scene. I
Oh
forgot
yeah.
about it. Uh, let's backtrack. I forgot. We have to resolve this like burning the tattoo scene with Shelf. What did that look like?
Yes. Yeah. So we. Yeah. So we established that. So the as the fire comes across Shelf's arm, it does burn away at the flesh. It does singe and blacken, but when the arm is pulled away, and Shelf stops quietly wincing, the words that remain are it is the word beacon that remains. The word has changed.
And that's your clue.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Good. So now let's go back to it. Shelf, what do you do now after you leave Gavin?
Uh, and I think Shelf will walk down towards the shore, towards to the beach, trying to look for where the crossing should be.
Hmm.
If there is a dock, if there is some sort of marker.
Or just some evidence of where people alight and
Yeah,
and
some sort of
wait, right?
brazier.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Make the information move with reason.
Okay, that is a 3.
A 3. I think when you get down to the shore, you actually see someone standing there. They even have in their hand what appears to be like a torch or a crozier or something, but there's like a pale green fire on it. And it almost looks like they're holding up this pale green fire to maybe to call the Pale Crossing, right? Who knows? But as you get closer, you realize that they are translucent. And this person eventually turns to you. And you can see that it's a woman wearing a cowled, kind of cloak thing, carrying this like staff with the pale fire. And she seems to be looking at you, but also through you a little bit. And before you can even have any kind of reaction, she has gotten very close to you. I am so heavy with sorrow. Please, take some. And as she reaches out, you can feel cold rushing through your body. You can even see it frosting on your vow plate and on the hilt of name taker. What do you do?
Uh, okay. The oh gosh. Okay. Gosh, freezer burn. All right.
Think on it.
Out of the fire into
I'm
cold.
going to go to Old Smoke, who I owe a clue to. I think as you're kind of listening for messages, right? And as you've described, sometimes it happens like it comes in whispers or in some kind of like flash of insight. But in this case, perhaps when you open your eyes again, Old Smoke, you're standing in front of just a grave marker, and there is a crow perched on it, almost expectantly, waiting on you. And the crow has something in its beak. And you can see now that what perhaps looked like a stone or a gem is actually a human eye with just a little bit of the connective tissue dangling down. The crow with the eye in its beak is your clue, summoned by your stillness. What do you do though?
I think I go unnaturally still and observe to see if it's going to eat the eye, if it's taken it from somewhere nearby, or if it's meant to be more of a explicit message.
I think at some point it just flies off, but you get the distinct feeling that it flies off once it thinks you've seen it and received the message, right? I think that's the
What
extent of it.
color was it?
Oh, you can tell me later what color the eye was.
Okay.
Nizel.
Indeed.
Avric of House Durellen. He's been going on at some length about how excited he is to have a friend, someone who's not just draped in gloom and misery like everyone else on this island, and not complaining constantly like one particular person on this island. And he's just very, very happy. And so what happens once you get to the stump?
Uh, I'll tell him this may hurt a bit. I would like to club him over the head with the Tenderbark Confessor.
Fantastic. What is your goal here?
Well, so like out of character, I know that I can't do my move until
Yeah,
I'm on a
yeah,
journey.
yeah. But
Nizelle doesn't know that.
you can still
Nizelle is
get you can still
trying.
get like a information move, right? Out of it.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Nizelle is trying to commune with the land.
yeah,
Specifically, she's like, this is a tree stump, so it's not going to be like a proper crucifixion, but
yeah.
she's trying to make him suffer and wake up the land and have it speak to her.
Okay, fantastic. So what were you gonna club him with again?
My Tenderbark Confessor.
Oh, very good. Maybe tell viewers what that is.
Yes. Sometimes called the rib rake.
Mm.
It is a long staff made of wood. It's twisted with vines and flowers and has nails sort of sticking out at intervals. So it is very painful to be hit with.
Hmm. And it has a claw as well,
Hmm.
used to
Yeah,
strip the tender bark from skeletons. Um,
indeed. And she's carrying it like a staff, but it is a menacing looking thing. Yes.
Indeed, I love it. So I think this roll is going to count for all of it. Like, oh, well, no, I think we'll do the light move first, just to see how that goes, and then I might give you an information move after that. But I like where this is going. If you roll well enough, I'll just straight up give you the clue. No information move needed. So, light move. What do you afraid is going to happen right now if you fail?
So I'm afraid that the first hit will not be enough to stun him, and that he'll be getting away, and I will need to use Harrow, the murder catcher,
Oh,
to reel him back in.
mm,
But Harrow is an iron sickle attached to a long chain, and it has a bit of a mind of its own, and I don't believe that it will be satisfied with his blood, and it will take some of mine as well.
oh, good. Okay, yeah, I can work with that. This is going to be with vitality. Do you have
Okay,
any conditions right now?
I don't.
Okay,
Might
vitality,
be about to get one.
maybe.
Oh, goodness. This is +0. Oh, but I rolled a 10.
Very good. Um, describe everything up to the point of like basically everything up to the point of like extracting information from him, like everything else. I want to know what all the rest of it looks like.
So the first blow is enough to stun him, and then he's also bleeding a bit from his head because of the spikes in the Tenderbark Confessor. And so while he's sort of dazed, I'm going to pull him up onto the tree stump there so that he's kind of splayed out
Like an
along it.
altar, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She takes some of the vines from her wrists that tighten when blood is spilled, and she uses those to bind his hands. Um, and then she gets to work. So she'll pick, I think probably this part of his arm, since his hands are bound up, to pull the flesh away, and then she's looking sort of the way that a bird would build its nest. She's kind of picking apart the sinew there. You're muted, Jason.
I would like to suggest that you're maybe not, you're in a relatively isolated place on the island, but that won't stop everyone else. Well, it won't, it
This is
definitely,
not quiet.
Old Smoke will definitely hear it, right? And there's a good chance Gavin does. Like, they're, you're going to hear screaming on the wind. There's someone screaming somewhere on the island. We'll come back to this. I want to resolve this thing with Shelf, and then we'll take a break. Shelf, this creature, this melancholia, is trying to. They're not intentionally trying to, but they are freezing you currently. What do you do?
Shelf's legs are going to buckle under the weight of ice, and he is actually going to take another knee and kneel again, and he is going to plant down Nametaker again and say, "Spirit caught in freezing time. You need keep your vigil no longer. You have kept it long enough and are worthy to be named for it. Etch yourself into my blade, and I will carry you to the mainland."
Are you marking an aspect here?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think I am marking burdened not by guilt but by identity.
Fantastic. Go ahead and roll with. I think it's going to be presence, but you get to roll with advantage because of marking the aspect.
That's a 10.
Nice. Take us to break by just describing how you release the spirit.
I think I think it's just that the spirit, its hand put forth will be drawn down to the blade, where with one finger it will just draw in its name and disappear, seeming to possess the blade.
Let's take 5. You're all doing your different things. Some hours have passed. The Sun Queen has retired to her chambers, and it is now the time of the twin moons. Although on Elegy you really can't tell the difference so much. It's always just kind of gloomy and gray on Elegy, except now there are two vaguely circular shapes in the sky as opposed to one. It is whatever passes for nighttime here on Elegy. One way that you'll know is because someone, maybe Fen, maybe spirits, maybe some wretched nobles who still have their minds somewhat intact, is lighting braziers and candles on the island, right? On the various graves and things. Gavrin, you've got your candle made. You might hear that in the distance screaming coming from somewhere. And it's unclear where the others have got off to. What do you do?
I think I will go in the direction of the screaming. That sounds like someone who might need my help.
Indeed. Well, let's get back to that then. Nizelle, what is happening here?
Yeah, she's feeling frustrated because this is not as successful as she was hoping that it would be, and she's not sure whether it's her having come out of this centuries, eons long slumber. I don't know how long I've been in the crypt, or it's him because he's half alive, mildewed. This is not a proper sacrifice, but it's the best that she had. Um, but it's not coming together, and so she's getting more frustrated, and she's moved from his arm down to his bowels now, and she's pulled some of the entrails out. Uh,
Let's have the information move with composure as you frustratingly try to extract truth from him. Trying to get this. It's also on a tree stump, which is like a half dead tree, right? Like,
yeah,
what's
yeah.
happening here? In any case, let's have it.
I
Would you like to
eight.
mark an aspect?
That's a good question. I already rolled. I
Okay.
think I'm happy with an 8.
All right. You'll get your clue, but the complication is going to be Gavrin walks up in the middle of all this. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
If Nizelle hears Gavrin approaching before Gavrin sees this, then I will attempt to kill the martyr before Gavrin
Oh,
walks
okay,
in.
good. Yeah, good. This is good. I like it. I I don't think I'm going to put any rolls on that. You can do that if you want to. Let me give you your clue though.
Mhm.
So the one thing we think happens here is that the trees or the land is speaking to you through the tortured screaming of Ovric of House Durellen, very
Mhm.
last of his name, and and you interpret the screams to be truth, and happily it is. And so let's see what you learn. I
It's the screams, but it's also the way the blood flows in the tree bark, and there's a lot to look for.
I think what you notice, I mentioned earlier that all around the island are starting to be like braziers and candles lit, right? And you will notice that over a nearby, there's like a little gravestone nearby, and someone has lit candles there. And you will feel the wind coming from one direction, but the candle fire is guttering in the opposite direction, or it's going the wrong way. And
Mm.
importantly, the candle flames, they all seem like they're stretching and pointing to one of the twin moons.
Mm.
That's your clue.
Okay.
And this is when you'll be aware of Gavrin approaching. And Gavrin, what does Gavrin see?
Uh, Nizelle has dispatched of the noble by slitting his throat. Because the primary thing is that she doesn't want him to be able to speak to Gavrin. So, He may not be dead yet, but his throat is slit.
Have the scene, please.
Yeah, I think you can sort of you see that light from the burning branch and maybe even feel like a vague like suggestion of warmth from the flame. And I think when Gavin arrives, I think the first question is when he sees you is, Nizelle, are you hurt? What happened?
He attacked me. I'm not hurt.
She is the worst.
Yeah, Gavin looks at this absolutely like tortured man and says, is that the answer you wish to give me?
If it was not, I would not have given it.
Would you like to amend that answer?
I've met candlebearers before. I'm no more interested in speaking to you than I was in the last one.
And why is that? Do you think you know me because you knew one of us?
Are you going to tell me that you're different than all the rest of your order?
I do not think I can decide that for you.
You can decide it for yourself.
I think I am off my order, but I am still me.
Hmm. Perhaps we have that in common then. Nizelle would like to go and retrieve her vines from the man's wrists.
Gavin will kneel down and I will take that candle that allows me to see different time. And as I start to light it, I say one last time, would you like to amend that answer?
I don't know what you want from me. We're getting off this
On
island. We have the same goals.
honesty would be a start. You judge me, but you have not given me the chance to show who I am.
Hmm. I don't feel like I'm the one being judgmental.
Have I judged you? Have I said anything?
Light your candle.
So I will. And Gavin will light the candle.
Nizelle, I'm going to give you a condition, the curse of
Mm-hmm.
House Durellen,
Mm-hmm.
which was screamed at you by Avric. Gavin, we'll
Seems
come back
fitting.
to a roll dice on your candle in a moment. Old Smoke, I think as you're coming out of your reverie, you realize it's nighttime. And you are being approached by a woman in black traveling clothes with eyes that are very luminous and pale in the dim light in the dark. She says, "Another Ember. You're the second I've met today."
Well met, and what would your name be?
"I am Vera, formerly of the Black Cortege, now something of a free agent."
I didn't realize that membership was voluntarily left.
"I suppose it is not. But, well, I've just had a change in philosophy, say, and whether they like it or not, I will not do their dark work anymore."
How noble of you.
Hmm.
What has brought about such a change of heart?
I think it's because I came to the realization that death has neither master nor mercy. And how could I serve such a thing? You think that death is a door that opens and closes, but it isn't. It's a tide. And the black cortege endlessly serves its pull. I've actually come to warn you. You need to get off this island as soon as you can. Find a way to the lands remaining so that you can outrun the black cortege. There is one member of the Veiled Lodge watching you even now. He is called Mortis. He is dangerous, though I don't think he yet knows what he's stalking in you, little mouse. I know the story your order tells.
It is not my first time to elegy, although it is my first time meeting you.
Yes. I thought you looked familiar. You've spent quite a few years just lying face down in the mud over there, if I recall correctly.
Sometimes my meditations have a way of taking me away from the waking world for too long.
Well, I'm just happy Fen didn't bury you.
He's complaining he has too much work, and so he does.
So he
I'm
does.
happy to have met you and to know of someone with a free mind.
Thank
I
you.
welcome your advice, and my companions and I shall take it.
Go ahead and roll the information move with presence.
8.
We'll come back to this. Shelf, what do you do after you're done setting the spirit free?
Mm-hmm. I guess Shelf is continuing on his way, like also at this point kind of like really looking for someone, looking to see if there's anyone else who's like looking to leave.
Oh. Yeah. I think as you kind of continue walking along the shore, under the very, very muted light of the twin moons, you will see a group of people ahead in the distance. There's about maybe half a dozen of them, and they're all on their hands and knees, or on their knees, kind of calling out, praying, maybe to the moons, maybe to something they can see on the water, maybe to gods that are no longer listening, who knows. But you can hear their loud, almost wailing prayers. You can't make out what they're saying, but you can hear the sound, even from the distance that you're at now. What do you do?
I think, hmm, I think that Shelf will kind of quietly walk up to them, trying not to disturb them, take up position like beside this group, just sit his hulking body in the sand and also join in meditation, presuming and maybe sort of like kind of both listening in, but also like a little bit of prayer himself to like, I hope that this is what we need to do. I hope that by praying to some entity can help us off of the island. So yeah, actually joining them.
As you get closer, you realize that it's a group of men and women wearing tattered finery. They are they they have the look of people who have been here for years, maybe even centuries, but who won't die, who have no need or maybe just no taste for food or wine. They have a sunken look, an ashen look, and they're on their knees and they're wailing. Some of them in languages you don't recognize. Some of it's just just blabber. It's just nothing. It's just words. It's just noises. Another one, though, is saying, "Oh, the feast is ended. The feast is ended, and tomorrow we dine on dust. Save us from this fate, please. Let us remember the departed for just a little bit longer. Let us join the procession. What will we do when we have no one left to mourn?"
I think Shelf. There's a like he's sort of like sat down and is more maybe not praying but just sort of listening in to what they're saying, and he kind of there is some frustration growing in him as he will stand back up and call out, you you need not remember the named dead. You must rise up. Take, scour, scour these beaches. Take what you can find. We must bring the boat. We must bring passage to the mainland. What are you doing? This is no time for calling out these names.
This is really interesting. I think these people are not well and not particularly stable. And I think interacting with them is going to be the dark move. What are you afraid is going to happen right now?
Afraid. I guess afraid that they will rise. They will rise up and they will pick me up and throw me into the sea.
Interesting. It's worse than that. They will pick you up and throw you into the sea, and they will drown you because they think you've been brought as a sacrifice by all the ghostly knights following you who they can see. This is going to be with presence. And will you be marking aspects or are you just rolling straight?
The uh, I I think that I think I will mark. I think I kind of want to mark the banner. Specifically, it led 1,000 knights who refused to march beneath any emblem. I am telling them to kind of revoke their gods and their prayers in favor of just doing something now to bring the boatman.
I like it. That's good. Roll
Right.
3d6. Yeah, mark that and roll advantage.
That is still just a 5.
Gavrin, let's have your information move, lighting the candle, which allows you to see things or observe another place or time, but it still counts as an information move. Are you actually going to mark it to get advantage?
Um, if I don't mark it, I can still use it, or I
You can
have to
still, yeah, you
use.
can always do it. It's just you don't get the hard mechanical aspect
Right.
advantage or aspect until you mark the aspect. Yeah.
I'll mark it.
Go ahead and
That does
roll
give a
with.
little flame. Sorry. I was very enamored with the fact that
Oh, it
there's a little
does.
flame if you do it
That's
in
so
the
great.
character keeper.
There's lots of little surprises like that, which is great.
That was very lovely.
Fantastic. I think this is going to be with Cinder.
Oh, okay, good. Thank God for that advantage then.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Well, that's still a 6.
2 6s on the table. And also, you're drawing unwanted attention, so I think that's going to be an interesting thing. Nizel, what do you do? at the end of all this, after the end of this confrontation?
I probably try to seek out one of the other two, because I believe that maybe after this Gavin will not be friendly to me, and I still want to be on the boat. So
Let's see how it goes. We'll come back to that. Old Smoke. Since you got a middle result, I'm going to take the fiction here a little bit. I think you and Vera find yourselves walking in the Grand Cemetery at this point. And the Grand Cemetery is almost like walking, it's almost like walking in corridors and hallways because the tombs and the headstones are so big. And so, you can turn corners and not see what's around the other, what's behind you, right? And there are braziers and candles lit. Who knows who's lighting these things? It's video game logic. We don't know who lights them. We don't care. And so you're kind of going around corners and things, right? And I think you're just having a conversation with Vera. We don't have to role play the whole conversation, but you're going to learn a lot more about her. She has this, she has really, first and foremost, she came here to get into the Morning Tower and was disappointed that it's closed. And because she basically just plans on spending the rest of her days in the Morning Tower with the Sisters of the Long Wake. And whatever they do with her, whatever path they have for her, she'll take it. But that's what she's kind of waiting on. And she doesn't know how to open the Morning Tower, but she has found something that might be of use. She shows it to you. A key made of blackened glass, but it's very fragile. If you were to put it into a mechanism and turn it, it would probably break. In fact, she kind of unfolds it from a soft piece of velvet because it's so fragile. She says, I found this wrapped up like this near the Morning Tower as if someone dropped it. I have to imagine it's connected in some way to how to get access to the place, don't you think?
May I run with this a little bit?
Please.
I think it is an obsidian key that is fabled amongst the Order of the Glass Door as opening the obsidian gate,
Oh, interesting. Good.
highest level of the order. And I am in awe when she reveals it, that the holder of such a thing opens secret pathways and can see hidden things. That's the sort of fable that goes along with it.
Do you tell her this?
No, but
Oh.
I reverently reach out, and she will see my entire body changes. It's sort of more casual demeanor to this almost trembling state. May I hold it?
She says, you can have it if you think it'll get those doors open.
I take it as reverentially as she hands it to me. And I fold my hands around it as if some great promise has been answered. As if I've been waiting for this kind of breakthrough in my search for the divinity. I shall find you your way inside.
She leaves you to it and disappears around a corner in this labyrinth of tombs. This open-air labyrinth of tombs. And maybe you hear something around the corner and maybe you think it's her again, but it's not. You're now face to face with a man wearing a mourning coat, edged with ash and pinned with a single white rose. His bare feet are wrapped in funeral cloth and rings of silver. And he has a single long taper candle in a holder in his hand. He says, I am Mortis of the Black Cortege, and you are an abomination. And he kind of like lights the candle, his little match, and then he immediately blows it out. And when he blows it out, it extinguishes all of the lights in the grand cemetery. If we were viewing it from topside, it would look like it just all went black. And he doesn't just extinguish the fire, he also extinguishes your courage.
Mm.
How do you know? How do you experience it?
I think usually when there is no light, Old Smoke feels most at home and most confident. And there is this poignant, almost like crashing when he blows out the candle is smokeless, and all of the lights don't flicker as normal lights would. There is just blackness. And the only time I have felt the cold, all consuming, almost like falling through an unseen height, was when the dimming came. And my stomach falls through my feet as that fear hits me once again.
Take a condition. We'll call the condition, Are You Afraid of the Dark? And you hear a blade being drawn in the dark, the distinctive shh. What do you do?
I will summon up my courage and I will I will do battle. I have no weapons. I have no need of weapons. And so I will begin reciting the most in the tower and use one of my aspects to increase my chances in this battle to come.
This is going to be the dark move. It's going to be with vitality, and you're going to be at disadvantage. But if you mark something from the mouse in the tower, that'll balance it out to just be 2d6
Yeah, I'm
with
gonna mark
vitality.
no blade. No blade could break, so that's what I'll mark.
Very good. And for people watching the video, the Lock and Key's core move is a children's story called The Mouse in the Tower. And it's a kind of a summary of the story, and within that are aspects. And this story is the basis of the martial arts practiced by the Order of the Crystal Door. And so, what are you afraid is going to happen right now if you fail? Or lose your nerve, in this case?
I am afraid, first and foremost, not for my life, but for losing the obsidian key.
Oh, very good. It's worse than that. You will also lose your life. So let's go ahead and get dice on the table.
Oh.
A four. I've got three misses on the table currently. I'm gonna see if I can rack up one more here before we.
I will stoke the fire on.
We'll come back to it.
Okay.
Um, very good. Let me check in with. So Gavin, just to be clear, you got a miss, right, Gavin?
Yes.
And Shelf, you got a miss. And Old Smoke has a miss. And Nizelle, you just scampered off. um,
Looking for either Shelf or Old Smoke, but I don't know how findable they are.
I don't think Old Smoke is findable. Shelf is on the other. I'm going to say Shelf's down on the beach, so we don't know where Shelf is. You know what you will find though?
Mm.
That funeral procession. You'll recall last time I mentioned there's a long funeral procession kind of traveling around the island. And
Mhm.
this is the first time it's kind of up close. You see it like kind of passing by. I'll um I'll describe it a little more. It's a line of mourners kind of winding now seemingly endlessly through the dark fog, faces hidden beneath black veils. They carry empty coffins, banners of torn silk, candles that burn with colorless flame. The air is thick with perfume and the mutter of prayers, their rhythm tipping toward delirium rather than devotion. Let's paint the scene, everyone. The mourners march without rest or reason. What small detail betrays that this procession has forgotten who or what it was meant to bury?
As they walk, they're reciting a like a morning chant, but most of them are doing that thing that you do when you've forgotten the words to the song, where you just move your lips and no sound is coming out. So that's most of them are silently doing that.
I think they are carrying there's like people that are like carrying coffins or like vessels of some sort that might be urns, but they are all like they're doing like a thousand different customs at once. Like it is very clear that they don't remember what custom belonged to what coffin or how they were supposed to hold it or what they were supposed to do. Were they supposed to put flowers on it or little stones? Were they supposed to hold it this way or that way? Like even mid-sentence of that song, they will sort of just do something different as if that's going to change or do something.
I think the coffins themselves are decorative, that they have no bodies or corpses in them, that they've turned more into pieces of pageantry for the march than they have for funeral rites of any sort.
They they wear as well bits of armor, specifically helmets. I think helmets from suits of armor, but they are helmets clearly from different orders. Sort of like lions and frogs and whales and all of these different types of helms.
Nizelle, what do you do as the funeral procession passes?
I would like to approach and hold my arm out to see if they are corporeal or not.
They are.
Do they react to my having touched one?
Not really.
Hmm.
Kind of in a delirious state of grief for something they don't remember.
Interesting. And
And
they're heading
there's lots of them too, like dozens and dozens.
and they're heading in the direction of the tower.
Unclear.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I think maybe I'm interested in seeing what their destination is, if they even remember. So I'll walk a little faster than them in the direction they're going and see if I can figure out where the front of this is.
Make the information move with composure just to see if you learn something of
Hmm.
interest.
Yeah, just
I think
regular.
because you have the curse of House Durellin, there might be some people who were loyal to House Durellin, and
Sure.
they might see the mark on you. So roll with disadvantage as well.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I don't think my aspects are very helpful. Okay. That is with disadvantage a 9.
Okay, not too bad.
I two composure, so
Yeah. Shelf, one of these wretched nobles is looking past you, and you realize now that they can see the Nameless Legion. Even though the Nameless Legion can't take any kind of action until you call upon them, they see a long line of kind of green wear-light specters, kind of behind you. And they immediately misinterpret what this means. One of them begins yelling about, oh, The other mourners have come. They have brought the sacrifice needed so that the gods will speak to us again. And before you can even react or have any kind of like realize what's going on, they grab you and they, because of your armor, you really can't like, you kind of lose your balance and you fall down into the water and they press you down into the water and into the silt, and salt water is just flooding. And the last thing you hear is just them like kind of like in joy crying out that finally they have the proper sacrifice, and finally the fog will lift, and finally the gods will look down upon us again. Unless you're going to stoke the fire.
I will stoke the fire. I will stoke the hearth's fuel.
Interesting.
In
Which one is that?
the fire to come. So, narrate a scene showing the spectral legion roaming the land. How do they bring further sorrow or woe to an already blighted place? Why is it important that you release them from their burdens?
Save that for next time, but I like it. It's good. Instead, your result is a 7 to 9. I think all of that is going to happen, except you'll be able to fight your way out of the scrum and get away. Not before taking some bruises. I'm going to give you a bruised condition. And then, but just, I'll let you have the scene though. What does it look like?
I think, yeah, just kind of narratively here, getting in a little bit of that hearth fuel. I would describe that like the way that like they're being driven off. So like once, so you know the banner tied to the bookshelf on my back, flies in the wind, unrecognized. The person, the first person in old finery to put their sand-covered hands upon my armor immediately has those hands cleaved off by one of the spectral knights, and it as the spectral knights, as them in ranks just sort of like step forward. I think I just sort of imagine the crowd like kind of like being drawn, being sort of like drawn back, or there's this sort of like brief scuffle before they kind of are like flee down the beach, and Shelf like retreats himself, just calling out, like shouting, do not go against us. We do not question who it is that commands you. Follow the command.
Old Smoke. There's a scuffle in the dark. And because of your strange like nerves that you're having right now, whatever magic Mortis did to you, it's really affecting your movements and your capability here. You feel the obsidian key slip out of your hand onto the ground. And you hear Mortis's barefoot stepping on the velvet, and you hear the crunching of the key. And you hear Mortis say, "Oh, by the way you gasped just now, I can tell whatever that was very, very precious to you. Here, let me ease your sorrow." And then you just feel the blade draw across your neck. Go back to your rest, Ember. Your fire is extinguished. Unless you're going to stoke the fire.
We'll stoke the fire, but a question for you, because I already used one aspect from Mouse in the Tower. Because it's unarmed combat, I could also get a reroll.
You do get a reroll. That's true. Would you like to reroll it? Reroll one.
I'd like to reroll just to see if I could.
What die number are you rerolling?
I'm rerolling my 1.
Okay, let's see how you do.
It only gives me a 3, so I'm still only at 6. So it's not going to make a huge change. I'll stoke the fire.
Okay. Oh, okay. And you also still have to mark your other Mouse
Yes,
in the
yes,
Tower
yes.
story. Which one did you end up marking?
I will, let me just see here. I think this makes sense. The tiny pause between inhale and strike.
Oh, that's good, right? Because that's perfect, actually. Yeah, very good. On a 7 to 9, um, I think the complication here is all you're going to be able to do is fend Mortis off and escape the Grand Cemetery, but Mortis is still out there somewhere. But you can have the scene, describe it.
Um, he hasn't stepped on the key.
He has not.
He's not stepped on the key. I think I in a rare display of retreat, I make a feigning move so that I know his blade will come into contact with my robes, but not me. But he will expect it will be me based on the way that I sort of make a little bit of noise with my long shrouds and and flee off into the grand cemetery as quickly as I can with my eyes closed, recalling, so I'm not disturbed by whatever magic has disrupted my night vision. I'm going to rely entirely on my memory of walking through the cemetery instead.
And you can escape. Gavrin, I think your magic betrays you a little bit. The fire betrays you just a little bit. It actually shows a scene of Nizel trying to help Ovric of House Durellin tied to the tree stump. But Ovric gets his hand free and tries to attack Nizel, and Nizel has to kill him to defend herself. And then at the end of this vision, you can interpret it however you want, but at the end of this vision, the dead Ovric looks at you directly and says, I know I probably don't deserve this, but perhaps you could take my body to my family's crypt so that I might have a proper rest. What do you do or say, Gavrin?
I think Everin smiles at that vision, confused why Nazelle wouldn't tell him. Why did she lie? Still confused and hurt, I think, about that. But I think there's a beauty in the fire, like showing me this, showing me the truth of Nazelle that she, for some reason, is trying to hide beneath this villainous exterior. And I think I look at Ovrik and I smile and say, she was wrong. I do not wish to judge, only to see. You will be with your family again. And then I will take the burning branch and hold it over him, and the wax will sort of start to like mummify his body so it will keep.
Nice. Mark your kindling gate, and I like the scene there. The unwanted attention was Ovric talking to you in the vision. Are you going to take his body to the crypt, or
Yes,
just okay? Good.
Davern will keep his word.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a condition until you complete that, which is the burden of the burden of House Durellen as opposed to the curse of. Nizelle, someone will whisper something to you. They'll whisper something to you while you're in the middle of the procession. They will say, "You're an Ember, are you not?"
So I've been told.
Well, then you'll want to hear this. There's an open grave. An open grave near the Morning Tower. Easy to miss. If you look down in it, you'll see that it's not filled with bodies or anything else that one might expect to find in a grave, but rather river stones. Hundreds and hundreds of river stones. Each have been marked with the symbol of the old fire. I wonder what that could mean.
Indeed. Can I see who's talking to me? Or are they just
It's
sort of
covered with the
featureless?
veil. Covered with the veil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. I want to break off and go to that grave and see if this is true.
You can. And I think there is a little follow-up complication here, which we'll get to in a bit. But for now, that's your clue, though. The grave filled with river stones, each stone marked with the symbol of the old fire.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is probably a time for everyone to kind of come back together now at this point. And let's take a look at how many clues we have.
Well, should I also be given a condition for that?
What happened to you? Yeah, bruised.
Oh, just because. Okay, bruised.
Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. 8 clues. That's pretty good. Oh, but also did the key clue get put in here? The obsidian key? That was one also.
I wasn't sure if that was a clue or perhaps a potential relic or plot hook. I wasn't sure.
You can have it, but it's not. It doesn't do anything mechanically, except that it's a clue. So let's take a look at your 9 clues, and I think we'll take a slightly longer break so that you all can think about some solutions maybe to at least one of the questions. And I'll remind you as well that your aspects can be used as clues also. So if you think you can work in one of your aspects in a cool way that would help you get a better result, then you can do that too. The clues are the trail of candle wax leading into the sea, the skeleton that's had its skull replaced with a mirror, this whispered phrase, "the sea remembers," the shattered mirror shards that reflected a bright sky instead of the fog, this bone whistle that evokes a memory of passing, the word beacon was burned on Shelf's arm, candle flames blowing against the wind stretching towards one of the twin moons, this grave filled with the river stones, each marked with the symbol of the old fire, and the obsidian key that Old Smoke recognizes as a legend of his order. I think for our purposes, for the clue purposes, the important part was the fact that it's an obsidian key that's too fragile to be used. Like it will break if it is turned. And so that's 9 clues. That's pretty good. Let's take like a 15-minute break, give you all some time to think about the questions. If you work some aspects in, you can maybe answer, well, maybe not both of them, but you can definitely answer either of them pretty handily, I think. So we'll come back in 15. Okay, we're back. We assume your characters confer with each other about how to call the Pale Crossing, which I gather is the one you're going to go after. But we discuss it out of character right now. So this is an interesting question because the question is, how can we call the Pale Crossing back to the shores of Elgy? So it's not really like a whodunit type mystery question. It's more of a how do it mystery question. So how do we do it?
Uh, so 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 I guess one thing that we were thinking about. So one thing that we were thinking about is, like, so the idea that the sea, using the sea remembers some sort of light, some sort of reflection, um, or that the sea remembers in a drowning sense. I guess which one were we which direction were we going with that? Um,
I mean, I like drowning, but we don't have to drown. So the thing with the drowning, we had thought that because this is a boat that takes souls to and from Elegy, that we could use the river rocks to weigh ourselves down and actually like sort of call it by putting ourselves in that state of like being on the verge of death, and then the Pale Crossing would come, and so that gets the sea remembers the memory of passing the candle wax. I think is going to show us the place to do it, and then the river stones for sure. And but then we had also discussed maybe there's a ritual and we don't die.
So if I understand, so it sounds like what was the? I accidentally cleared the first clue. I don't remember what it was. What was the first clue?
Oh, the candle wax.
That
Leading into the sea, which is why we know like it is the sea itself, like we need to be in it
right.
for this
So
ritual
the
to
candle
work.
wax leads you there. The sea remembers. So you're essentially having to communicate with the sea in order to get the Pale
Hmm.
Crossing to come. That's really good. And then you use mirrors to create a beacon. That already accounts for four of the clues. What does the bone whistle do?
It's
the
like part of the beacon, like calling the because
Oh, I
again
see.
it
Yeah.
evokes this like a memory of passing
Got
the
it. So
sea remembers
you're like
it's
causing the sea to you're like priming the
yeah.
sea to remember,
Hmm.
and then you use the mirrors to like to sort of like
Yeah.
to
To like create a portal
yeah,
almost because like
yeah,
mirrors are sort of very
yeah.
traditionally like
Well, it kind of makes
travel
sense because like
portals. Yeah.
the one mirror shows a sunny sky, which we don't have in Elegy, right? So it's almost like showing the other side of the shore, right? Which I think is really interesting. And then the mirror with the head, it's almost like saying like the mirror is the knowledge, it is the memory, right? It is the thing. Like that's really intriguing. Okay, so that's five clues. What is the what do the river stones have to do with it?
We need it's sort of like payment and we need to like use the
Got
river
it.
stones to drag us down to the
Got it.
bottom so we almost drown.
That's up. You're up to six clues incorporated. That's really good so far. Is there anything else we want to go with?
The
I
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just I wanted to use one of my aspects,
Okay.
the name taker, specifically the last box I have, the name taker along sort of flawless steel, basically a clue to tie in to two of the other clues, specifically the mirror, and also with Shelf being the beacon, that he has to use name taker as a mirror from its its
Oh,
polished
that's really
reflective
good.
surface.
Oh, good. So it's maybe not even that the pallbearer. Oh, I kind of like the idea of like not the pallbearer. The boatman doesn't just respond to uh, any old mirror, but it's more
Right.
like you have to show a reflection of yourself. You have to show you're an ember, essentially, right? Like you have to show that
Yeah.
you are entitled to passage. That's really intriguing. That's a great theory. So it's a great process. So basically, Shelf is going to walk down to the shore. Someone's going to blow the whistle while Shelf holds up the sword to show the relic of his office, and then you all have to get one of these stones and it counts as like as payment. I think that's really good. Um, you will engage in the struggle immediately as soon as you the assumption is by answering the question, you're also doing this. You don't have to get on the boat right away, but you have to do the struggle. So, are you all ready to do that?
Yes.
only have 3 conditions, so
Yeah,
let's go.
let's do it. So this is
Well,
a
I mean, you could take Avrik back to the grave before we do this
That's
if you
true. Yeah,
want to do
yeah,
that.
you could be hauling Ulrich back to the grave. I think that's fine while they're doing
We,
I want
we
to
have
be in the struggle. I don't
that.
mind. It's too cool.
What were you gonna say, Ken?
we have time to camp in a dangerous place.
You certainly do. It's really hard. You're probably going to end up with more conditions. It's like
Sure.
it's just if like it's not like an efficient thing to do. Like making camp in a dangerous place is like a desperate thing to do. So I I would not recommend it, but it's up to you. You can actually clear a condition much more efficiently by just marking an aspect. So
Okay.
if that's something you're concerned about, you can explain how one of your aspects helps clear the condition and do that.
I would definitely like to get rid of my afraid of the dark condition.
Okay, how would you? Which aspect are you going to mark?
I think I will do one of my relics. Let me see which one makes the most sense. If I mark the matte coating that drinks the light in my sturdy cloak, that makes me feel like I have more control over the darkness
I like
around me.
it. I'm into it. Yeah, like it reminds you you're a creature of the dark, right? That's good. You can mark that and clear that condition. Any other condition clearing for aspects?
I guess can I mark a suit of burnished steel to clear bruise, just to basically say that like it's just my,
It,
it's just my armor that took the
yeah, yeah, like
blows.
you actually, it wasn't as bad as you thought. Yeah, your
Yeah.
armor took it. Yeah, that's fine.
Right.
All right, then let's get a +1 roll. Who's going to roll for the group for answer a question?
I feel like it has to be Shelf if you want to.
They
Okay.
are the beacon.
It would be an honor. So a +1. That's okay.
Wait, I think with the aspect it's a +2.
Uh,
+2.
how many? Let's see. I had
Oh yeah, is it?
skeleton. See remembers.
Well,
Uh,
the one we lost a trail of candle wax leading to the sea, but I put it back. And
oh,
I think that
right.
that's tied in because that's where we're going to do it, is the location that the candle wax needs
Oh,
to
it is
see.
indeed. Right, right. Okay. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yeah. So go ahead and roll +2 then. Yes.
So a +2. Okay, that is okay. So that's an 8. So that's a 10.
Oh, nice.
10 total.
Fantastic. Let's read answer a question. We haven't done that yet. It says, when you have an open, freewheeling discussion about the answer to a question, once you've gathered a number of clues equal to at least half the complexity, and you reach a consensus, roll plus the number of clues incorporated or otherwise explained away, minus the complexity. On a 10 plus, the answer is correct and the opportunity can be pursued. Our opportunity is to call the Pale Crossing and immediately engage in a struggle against the boatman. So I guess technically, according to the opportunity, you can come call him later if you want, but I think in the interest of time, we should call him now and get it over with. So, all right. Let me go get my struggle text. I'm not gonna, you all recall how struggles work, so let me just go find it. So you've done this. You have done this whole procedure. The first movement. The sea is still when he arrives. The fog parts, revealing a narrow vessel wreathed in violet flame. Its oars dip into the water, each stroke leaving ripples of faint light that fade before they reach the shore. The boatman stands at the stern, tall, robed, his face a mask of dark glass. The air around him hums with sorrow so deep it feels physical, pressing against your chest until you struggle to breathe. Let's paint the scene. The Pale Crossing was meant for the dead, or the living that mourn them. You are neither. What small sign tells you that your presence here offends the natural order?
As we're standing at the surface of the water, we don't have a reflection in the still water.
When we when we move into the water, when we splash through it, when we move through it, there is no sound.
Even submerged in the water, the burning branch does not go out. And where wax should melt and have this like oily layer atop of the water, it stays with me here at the bottom of the sea. The elements don't react like they should.
I think that the sky itself darkens to the point where not only can we not see the hazy outline of the twin moons, but there is a canopy of darkness that almost rejects us.
He lifts one hand, and the violet flame, flares brighter. A wave of anguish rolls outward, an assault of pure grief. It strikes like the breaking of a dam, filling your mind with memories that are not your own. Cities burning, oceans boiling, the sound of the old fire's last crackling breath. To all of you, describe how you endure the first onslaught of grief, the visions, the loss, the weight of every death from the dimning, and then roll the dark move. We'll start with Shelf.
The I I think that Shelf Shelf looks inwards, looks to his vows, his promises. He must get the candle bearer to the mainland. He must get this wayward spirit that is now etched on his blade to the mainland. He has made vows to them, and no vow sworn while wearing his vow plate can be broken. Um,
This is the dark
so yeah.
move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
Uh, it uh, I think that I think there will be a chink in the armor,
Mm.
as Shelf wavers in his vows.
I think it's worse than that. You will realize that there's no point to any of this, and you will retire to the foot of the Morning Tower. Go ahead and roll with composure.
We'll be marking the aspect on the vow plate for advantage,
Okay?
and I will need it. Okay, composure. That's a 7
Okay.
with advantage.
Gavrin, how do you endure the assault of grief?
I think I see Shelf struggling, and I put one hand on your shoulder, Shelf, as I kind of step forward. And Gavin is crying, just tears, almost like listlessly. Like the grief is so much you can't even like wail. It's that kind of grief that's just like seeps out of you. It's not even a fight anymore. But Gavin stumbles forward, hand on Shelf's shoulder, and I think of all these memories, this pain, this love, and how it will all burn. Everything will burn, and then the light will shine the brighter for it.
What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
That I burn too brightly. That I, yes, to bear the light you must burn, but that also means giving up something, right? There will be nothing left after this.
It's worse than that. You will be burned literally by the violet flame of grief. Roll with composure.
Um, if I remember correctly, I can invoke advantage if I act through my cinder.
You
Let's
can,
see.
yeah, you can basically just clear the condition to get an automatic 12 plus.
Okay, no, I don't want to do that.
I'll tell you what the bonus is. The
Sure.
If you mark Cinder, or if you clear the condition to, because I think if I remember correctly, it gives you an automatic 12 plus. I promise I
Hmm.
wrote the game. Um, with that 12 plus, I will make sure the shelf has no further complication, and I won't make Old Smoke or Nizelle roll for this movement.
Oh, that is very tempting, but then I can take this again. I like having the kindling gate. Um,
That's the
I'll
offer.
I'll mark an aspect instead and just hope for a 12, I guess.
You're going to be rolling with Cinder. You are going to be rolling with Cinder,
Oh,
but
okay.
at advantage. So,
All right. Um, I will use the fact that I can light the dark places of the world.
okay.
I will use that aspect.
Mhm.
Or actually, I'll use, no. Yeah, I'll use that one. All right. Well, it is two sixes, but it's also -1. So that is an
But you're
11.
good. Let's go to Old Smoke. Old Smoke, how do you endure the assault of grief? Literally, the pain of the world dying. The boatman doesn't play.
I think Old Smoke has lived with this, and I think that there's a practice mantra, and he enters into. I'll use the mouse in the tower for an advantage, but he enters into a state where he hardens himself, and he cools his body down from the violet fire, so it's still as frost-covered stone.
From the chat, you're thinking about maybe marking stoking the fire, Gavrin?
To get that 12 plus.
The same deal stands if you stoke the fire. I'll give it to you.
I'll stoke the fire.
All right,
Sure.
Old Smoke, you don't have to roll. You get to just successfully describe it. Uh, but I do need you to incorporate how Gavrin's fire helps you.
I think I
Well, we'll come back
uh,
to it. Let me check with Nizelle real quick. Nizelle, same thing. Just describe how you endure. You don't have to roll.
Yeah, this is her defense mechanism is to reject it. That this is she does not care about the cities falling or the people dying. That is part of nature. It's part and parcel. It's a clearing so that new things can grow. And the connection when she sees Gavrin's fire burning is it brings to mind a forest fire and the way the pine cones crack open and release their seeds with the heat and the charcoal enriching the soil. And this is so what if it burned?
That's good enough, I think. That's really great. Shelf, you can add a little extra to yours if you want, just kind of how Gavrin helps you push through.
I Yeah, I suppose it is, like I was saying, with his vows, the knowledge that a candle bearer is here. He is thinking to the Nameless Legion. I mean, in during the time of the Old Fire, the Nameless Legion would have been in service to groups such as the Candle Bearers, would have been their swords, unnamed, thankless, but resolute in their duty. And here it feels like they're like some of that, like not all of the old world has died. Some of that order still remains.
Old Smoke, wrap yours up.
Similarly, when Gavrin's fire fills me, I am filled with the old fire, and I steel myself because vengeance can never be extinguished, and I am the vengeance of the old fire.
The second movement. The boatman steps onto the shore. The violet flame flickers, revealing that the water below the boat is not water at all, but a dark mirror showing your reflection, aged, then broken, then lifeless. His oar drags a furrow into the sand. It glows faintly before fading. He speaks, and his voice sounds like weeping made into language. Let's paint the scene, everyone. The boatman remembers each soul he has ferried across the waters. What do you glimpse in his bearing or his words that shows you he carries this burden not as duty, but as penance?
I think we see in like this dark reflection, we see the boatman too. And I think we see that this grief that we felt like a wave coming over us, for the boatman, it is not a wave. It is a pool that he is eternally drowning in. It is a fall where you never hit the bottom. It does not end.
I think that the boatman's reflection shows the boatman manacled to both the oar and the boat.
There's an insignia that he has on his arm, reminiscent of like the Scarlet Letter sort of thing, but this is a brand that would be worn in particular cities to mark executioners or those who had the burden of death.
He, I know it is penance because he wears he wears vow plate and a banner of the Nameless Legion.
Very interesting. The third movement. What was the result of answer the questions? Anybody remember?
Then I believe.
Was it 10? Okay.
Yeah.
Shelf. Describe how you convince the boatman to allow you and the other Embers to board the Pale Crossing.
Shelf, he gets a stern look, and he unstraps the bookcase that has been strapped onto his back. He sets it down. He looks through the tomes. Of course, none of them are named, but he doesn't need names to know which one he's looking for. He picks it out, and he offers it to the boatman. Reading for your travels.
The fourth movement. The boatman will ferry you to the lands remaining, and back to Elegy as you wish, but you must pay his toll. He holds out a withered hand to receive payment. To all Embers except for Shelf, mark an aspect and describe how it pays your way. You're kind of in our version, you're almost like imbuing the spirit of the aspect into the stone, right?
I will mark the aspect of the Nulwick, a candle snuffer with the vows of the waxen order engraved upon it in reverse. I think the way it pays for the way is I think it kind of connects me to Shelv. It's this, we all have these vows, although they are different vows, but we are all bound by these beliefs and these vows and oaths that we took. And I think the boatman like recognizes in all three of us sort of these kindred spirits that should be able to pass.
Going off of the vow idea, the aspect that I'm marking is on Harrow the Martyr Catcher. Some say it does its dark work independent of the desires of its wielder and can only be satisfied if the whole world hangs. And that is what she is imbuing in her stone.
I think my meager aspects, I will offer the boatman a waterproof roll from my set of burglar's tools, so that should he have the need to make any lists, it will be protected from his sojourns back and forth across the water.
You have completed the struggle. Congratulations. To complete the mystery, you just have to get on the boat and take off. Avrik Durellin will be preserved in the wax until you're able to get back to him, so you don't have to do that right now if you don't wish. Gavrin, you will keep the condition though, so just know that. Is there anything else to do on Elegy before you climb aboard?
I guess I'll ask you, Jason, do you feel there's like a scene in bringing Ulfric back, or is it just like
I think there is.
we do
Yeah,
it? Okay,
I think there's.
then
I
I'll
want. I
keep
want
it
to
for
see
now.
you all down in that tomb. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
then
well,
I'll
if we
keep
were
it
going
for
to keep,
now.
if we're going to be playing forever, I would. But we're going to pretend as if we were. So
Uh, Now that we are embarking on a journey,
mm.
um,
Yes, yes,
yes,
yeah. You can do
but
your evil
I don't
business.
think we
Yeah.
should do that in the next 10 minutes. I
No, no,
think
no,
that's
probably
maybe.
not. No, 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 no. I don't remember. I can't recall. Does the if I remember correctly, when we do the journey, you do that at the like after all the narration and stuff, right? That's like the last
Uh,
thing.
it says while on a journey,
Hmm.
you can say that a side character or supplicant meets you in secret.
Right. Yeah. Um, I think we can. Uh, I think there's a way we can do this. So the way the text is going to go is that the Crux Druid can do their core move on the Pale Crossing journey, even though you're not on land and there's presumably no trees there. Um, but my thought was that it's always on the Elegy side of the journey because you can take Pale Crossing from anywhere on the continent, and but they always,
Hmm.
you always end up on Elegy.
Hmm.
And so what I think is probably going to work best here is I think we just have to end with that right before you all cross, and we'll do the journey tomorrow, first thing. So read your move to us, Nazelle. This is after everybody else has like gotten on board and they're kind of waiting on you, right? Where
Uh,
you're somewhere else on the island. What are you doing?
right. So the move says, while on a journey, you can say that a named side character or supplicant meets you in secret.
No, there's no supplicants yet, so it has to be a side
Right.
character.
It will be Fen, the Gravedigger.
And the Gravedigger. Okay,
If you do say who it is, then roll with Cinder. And then should I do that now then,
let's
or
do it. Yeah.
okay? Just regular or
Let me take a look at your
the Curse of House Durellin?
just regular.
Okay.
I don't think Fen
Uh,
is the type to care about House Sterling.
so that is a 7.
Okay,
Uh, so on a 7 to 10, they have not yet learned their martyrdom, or they are there to kill you, and you must roll the dark move in order to make them an oracle.
that's right. So let's just have the scene.
Right. Uh,
Where do we find you on the island?
on the shore, it's
Okay,
like sort of it's a bit of a cliff between like where the boat is down below, but it's up
got it.
above,
Yeah,
and there's
kind of up
there's
above. Yeah.
yeah trees there, and I have gone up there. I told everyone else I just needed to grab something really quick. I've gone up here and I believe that there is somebody coming. Like I can feel that there is somebody coming, and so
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him.
Well, I thought I never thought you would find a way to call the boat. And so that's why I didn't do what I should have done when you first dragged yourself out of that crypt. You are a blight on the land, and the lands remaining will not rejoice to see you come. And furthermore, I think you're going to create more work for me. And he has his shovel, the edge of which looks particularly sharp and glinting in the pale moonlight.
Mhm.
What do you do?
I will draw Harrow, the murder catcher. I'll
Mhm.
say, I'm not going to create more work for you, Fen. I'm here to give you rest.
Very good. This is the dark move to put Fen on the tree. What are you afraid is going to happen right now if you fail?
Uh, that I will go tumbling off of the cliff and make a quite dramatic splash into the fire of the boatman below.
Dude. Yeah, you will be gone. And I think it's worse than that, only in the sense that Fen will go to the others and say you are predisposed and that they should go ahead and go to the lands remaining without you.
Mhm.
This is going to be with vitality.
Okay, fantastic.
And I'm gonna be really kind of a bitch here and say that you don't know it, but Harrow the Martyr Catcher was one of the founders of House Durellen.
Do I have a disadvantage?
So I'm putting it at disadvantage and
Oh
vitality.
no. Oh no. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh no! The disadvantage really bit me. It's a 2. Oh no. It would have been a success without that.
It is I think, how do you know that Harrow the Martyr Catcher is betraying you right now?
When we've had our disagreements in the past, Harrow and
Yes.
I. When you swing Harrow, most of the time it acts as gravity would dictate, but sometimes it does not. And so the first time that she swings it and it doesn't go the way that it should, physically, logically, the way that it should, she knows that this fight is lost.
Indeed, I think you just go wide and Fen uses the sharp edge of his shovel blade to cleave the chain of Harrow, and he even mutters something like, "Well, you're free now." And then he lunges towards you and just delivers a square kick to your chest. And you go tumbling down into the fog shrouded sea. I assume you're going to stoke the fire there.
Yes, I will. I will stoke the old fire.
We'll see what actually happens tomorrow. But for now, let's go to end of session. All right, end of session. I have to be reminded what I'm meant to do here. Let's see here. Okay. If we have any moves that trigger at the end of session, we do that. Let's do end of session questions. I'm going to go ahead and give you credit for making the journey for XP purposes. So you will all be able to answer yes, you did resolve a mystery, so everyone gets XP for that. Let's just kind of go down the line on all the rest of it here. I'm going to go in reverse order, starting with Old Smoke. Old Smoke, did you roll a cinder today?
I did not.
Did you fight an enemy when slipping past them was an option? Yes, you did, actually.
I think I did, yeah, with Mortis, right?
Yeah. Did you relate a situation to the story of the mouse in the tower? Yes, you did. So you picked up 3 XP. Let's go to Shelf. Shelf, good nameless. Did you roll a cinder?
Did not.
Did you act in accordance with your vows even when it cost you something precious? I would say you did. Did you hear the echo of the Legion in your deeds or words? I don't know if it was a good echo, but you you definitely you heard it, I
Yeah,
think.
I mean, yeah, you shall follow command, and you shall not
Yes,
question who commands you.
yes, indeed.
There we go.
So you picked up 3 XP. Um,
Right.
let's go to Gavrin the Abelet. Did you roll a Cinder, Gavin? Yes, you did, several times.
Absolutely did.
You only get 1 XP, sadly. Did you find beauty in what should have been left unseen?
I think both in like thinking that the fire showed me the real situation, and in I think in all of that grief, like, oh, isn't it
I
beautiful
agree.
to see it
Yeah.
burn?
Did you share your fire with another? I think you did at
Yeah,
the end
quite
there,
literally,
especially.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
also with Shelv in the beginning with
yeah.
the vows.
All right, you picked up 4 XP. Let's go to Nazel, of the red canopy.
Mhm.
Nazel, did you roll a cinder?
Yes, at the end.
Fantastic. Did you perform a rite others found abhorrent? Right, yes, you did. um, did you spill blood in a way that caused the land to respond? Yes, you did. Yeah. So fantastic. You picked up 4 XP. Let's keep going here. Um, you are now reminded of who will have to do stoking the fire or other narrative prompts at the start of the next session. I think most of you do, if not all of you. Let's take a look. Um, I know Shelf, you at least marked a future fire, right? A fire to come,
Yes. Yep. The fuel.
and indeed you did. And Old Smoke, you have another old fire to do. And Gavrin, you will be doing an old fire, and Nizel will be doing an old fire as well. So we have lots of narration to do at the top of the next session. So be prepared for that tomorrow. And in the meantime, we can do stars and wishes. So you know the
I,
routine.
before we do stars and wishes, I had forgotten to add the clue of the crow with the eyeball, which I've just included now. It
Oh,
wouldn't have.
okay. Hey,
Oh,
just save it for the morning tower. So yeah, fantastic. Very good. Stars and
Stars,
wishes.
stars, stars.
Stars all around. This is amazing.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I Old Smoke with the broken finger. I literally gasped. And the Shelf and Gavin scene at the beginning was so good. I love Fen. I was so enjoying that scene, and I was looking forward to being able to kill him. And okay, I have written down extinguishes your courage. That whole like sequence with Old Smoke was just like phenomenal. Um, yeah, and I also really enjoy Avrik. Enjoy how much personality he had when you introduced him, knowing that I was going to kill him.
Yeah, it was so good. Any others? I'll say mine.
start.
I had a star really early on for both of the two old fire narrations that we got. Those were both so great. Like, and it was like, oh man, because I made like a really intentional design decision. Well, I guess they're all intentional, but a really thoughtful one, I guess, for this game, which was um, you will always narrate at the top of the next session, which is a change, right? The other games don't work that way. And so, and I love it. It felt such a cool way of like kicking off the session, right? Like it really kind of set the tone and like and it kind of gave a couple of the characters, a little chance for some spotlight, but also to sort of like almost like, I don't know, it felt like I was watching a TV show, it was great. It was like so good. So stars for that, and star for Shelf being attacked by everything on the island. It was really fun just to see all those things. There's still one monster you all haven't fought on somehow on Elegy.
Don't worry, Shelf will find it.
Maybe next time. Yeah, exactly. Maybe next time. But
I
no, it was
love
really
rolling
good.
with those failures on the because
Yeah.
I know I'm going to encounter something, so I'm just like, let's see what it is.
Yeah, it was great, but I like how you responded to it too. Like the way you kind of you as a player always go back to like your 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 Embers fundamentals, like what their deal is, and try to work what you do into their ideals and their fundamentals, like the naming and all that stuff. So like it always comes off really great. Star for that whole scene between Nizel and Gavrin, I thought that was great. Like it was so it was so intense, and like it was like, oh man, if we were doing a whole campaign of this, like this shit's gonna come back, right? Like this is not gonna be over, right? And so I really love that a lot. Star as well, Jazzy, for that sort of like that moment at the end in the first movement of the Boatman struggle, like just sort of it was such a like candle bearer moment, right? It's like I am the light in the fire, the dark, you know, and like everyone come to my light. It was like really, really well played. It was so epic. Um, Love the gruesome sacrifice of Ovric. It was just so gory and perfect. It was just such a good like tonal counterbalance to some of the other things that were going on. Um, yeah, and I really you do the same thing, Ken, with like you always kind of bring your actions back to like the fundamentals of like the crystal door, which I think is like really really fun way to play the character. And I also quite enjoyed the Mortis encounter. Some people in Discord chat were bummed that that poor Thranduil got killed so early that she didn't like have that she got beheaded so quickly. So I think they'll be happy to see that a member of the Black Cortez showed up a bit. So yeah, it was good.
Uh, Okay. Well, I want to say, Ken, and I mean, I guess, yeah, Ken and Jason, like yeah, that scene, between, Old Smoke and Vera was great. Those scenes were great. I think like there was a specific, I don't know, some specific, like kind of like back and forth that were really good. Saying, like Old Smoke saying like, oh, my meditations take me away from the waking world, when Vera is kind of like trying to put him down as like, oh, so you were asleep for like 3 years. How was that? And that was, but it was great. The and Yeah, you know, specifically had, Shelf kind of like interact with Gavrin, pledge vow to Gavrin, because I was hoping to start sort of like establishing, like, yeah, just seeing more of like Gavrin's, like relationships. Like, not now Gavrin has an interesting dynamic with kind of every, like, some interesting dynamic with every member of the group. Um um and Yeah, otherwise, um and yeah, uh gosh, the stuff with the Crux Druid, that opening scene, like Jason said, like it was a great tone setter. Like both of yours were amazing, like perfectly, like kind of like like came to life off of the ideas in the playbook, and well, in the Embers, and yeah, that was a great session.
I'll jump in. I'll echo everything everyone has said. Like just stars, stars, stars. Wonderful RPing. I had almost as much fun, perhaps more fun listening than I did RPing. That was amazing. But Shelf's voice has become like the cadence and tone for the story. It has this epic quality to it. I could listen to you read a phone book if such things existed anymore. It's just beautiful. Uh, uh, Nacelle, the vivisection and disembowelment descriptions, particularly. I was imagining if Old Smoke would have been in the trees watching you, there would have been an appreciation to your ruthless pursuit of your convictions. And then the interaction between the two of you, between Garvin and you, which was just, the tension was palpable. It was just, yeah, no, chef's kiss. It was really fantastic. So many moments, too many to cover, but yeah, what a great time. And just thank you, Jason. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Uh, yeah, stars. I mean, echoing everything that's been said, but to highlight some other things. Elena, I love this. You do this very subtle. thing for Nizelle where she feels like she's the victim. Like in like so many things, just like, oh, there's a threat of persecution while you're like disemboweling a dude. Like, yeah, there's a threat of persecution for that. Like, I just love the way that you phrase that. Like, I'm doing something completely innocent, and there's these evil people that are like judging me for this. And then with like Gavin, who's basically like, I'm not even saying anything. I'm just like, do you want to lie to my face and not even make it a good lie? And like, well, I'm being judged and I'm out of here. Like,
I
there's
hate to
just
say it, but I think Nizelle would be a trad wife influencer in 2025. Like, I really do. Like, just the most horrible person.
that is exactly the vibe.
That's
Yeah, just like
complimentary, though,
this.
for this for our purposes.
What was it you
Yeah,
said
just
about the Ember, Jason, when you wrote them? Like, if you don't hate them, I haven't written them right. So
yeah, I really like that. Just to not only do these horrible things, but to be like so fully like, how dare anybody like think they are horrible, right? Like I'm so persecuted. Like I thought that was a great way to like play all of that. Um
Nizelle, next featured speaker at Turning Point USA.
fully. It's just it was so great. It's just I really loved it. Yeah, for Ken, I love the wuxia-ness of Old Smoke. Like the whole thing, I was like, I felt like I was in like Hearts of Wulin for a second. Or like we were just like and I think it was really, really cool is that it like still feels like it belongs in this game, right? Like I don't feel like I'm out of it. Like it makes complete sense, but it does like set your character apart. And I think that's so interesting because they are different, right? Like they didn't die. They got like you can really see why the old fire was like, I need to save this guy because he's
It's
gonna.
it occurs to me it's profoundly ironic that like Old
Mhm.
Smoke used his like utter mastery of physiology to survive the centuries, but apparently like a lot of people didn't die. They just like they're just like hanging around. I mean, but they're all crazy, so you at least have that going for your Old Smoke.
Yeah, old smoke is totally normal. So
There are moments like when you were describing the boatman coming and the different reflections in the water. I'm thinking, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, the dead one. I haven't seen that one yet.
a small moment that I also really loved was the reverence for the key. Like I thought that was very clever and like very added a whole lot
So
in
fun
like a
as the
small
keeper to fuck with that, right? Like really, really, it
yeah.
was like perfect keeper fodder, right? So good.
That was really great. For Alexander, yeah, I loved Shelf being um yeah, like making this vow to Gavin and that moment of having your hand like led to the fire and then like just burning yourself because this random person's like, I think you should probably maybe. Just I love how
That
nobody
was a
is
good scene too.
normal.
That was such a good
Yeah.
scene. Yeah.
I love that you just immediately sort of like caught on to like this is a test of like trusting character and you like how you handled that was so cool. And I was very happy that I could sort of repay that in the end with like Gavin having now also like I will also take care of Shelf. Like I think that's a really interesting dynamic that they have going on now. I'm very sad that we won't see them again after tomorrow probably because all of this is so so cool. And for Jason, I really loved the fire betraying Gavin and showing a lie
Yes. Yeah.
because that there's like a very sinister implication that the old fire. I mean, first of all, they brought Nizelle back, which is already messed up. And then second, they're like actively lying to a person who was like having some doubts, like almost to keep us together and to like soothe Gavin to be like, no, 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 totally a good guy, totally somebody who should be
Oh
here.
yeah,
Like,
like if players aren't immediately questioning
mhm.
the the sort of like morality or the purity of the old fire, like it's not working, right? Like you should
Yeah.
always be like, what is this? I mean, we got that first scene of Nizelle and their completely horrible, bleak like situation, and it's only going to get worse from there. And it's like the old fire brought her back. You know,
Mhm.
so it's
And I
like,
mean, like even Old Smoke, like Old Smoke himself is good, but like that training does not belong
yeah,
in like a
yeah,
perfectly bright, happy world,
yeah, it
right?
implies that like the old world, like it's really important that like what I think is really fun and what kind of came out in this session is everything we think of the world of the old fire, it's just what everyone, it's everyone wish casting backwards, right? Like it's not necessarily great, you know? It's like just what we all, it's just everything now is so gloomy that it had to have been better than this, right? You know? So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, that was it. I think just so many cool moments. I wishes is I want to see more of these characters. I picked a new move. I want to use that new move.
I'm excited. Tomorrow we will get to do the first journey scene to kind of see how that works, see how make camp works out. You will be welcomed to the Great Forest, and then you'll get your first mystery, and we'll kind of see how that goes. So, um, I if there's nothing else, I that was really great, super great playtest. Really happy with it. Really, thank you all for joining me and taking a chance on spending a weekend after Christmas on this. So I appreciate it. Uh,
This was great. No, thank you for this. This was amazing.
awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.